Thank you for joining us for Group 2's capstone presentation. This semester, we got the privilege to partner with Paylocity to aid them with their authorization process. Here is some general background information regarding Paylocity. Paylocity is a human resource and payroll company. It was originally called AmeriPay Payroll and was founded in 1997 by Steve Sarowitz. Paylocity's current headquarters are in Schaumburg, Illinois. The company currently has approximately 4,000 employees. In addition to their headquarters in Illinois, Paylocity has 9 stores across the US. They currently help around 6,000 customers, with the most common type of customer being those in the hospital and healthcare industry. I'd like to take a moment to introduce each member of Group 2. Group 2 is composed of 5 individuals. We are all students at Seminole State College pursuing our bachelor's in Business and Information Management. My name is Hannah, and I'm the team captain for Group 2. Michael is our logistics analyst. He worked on determining timelines, resources needed, and much more. Widline is our arena simulator. She worked on creating all of our arena simulations and analyzing the results. Jacina is our benefits analyst. She worked on assessing all of the benefits our solution would provide. And lastly, Ryan is our code editor. Ryan worked heavily on creating and altering the code we implemented in Microsoft SQL. I'm now going to pass it off to Jacina to walk us through the executive summary.
Thank you, Hannah. So Paylocity as a company is very mission focused. They are keen on providing the most up-to-date work experience for not only its employees, but its clients as well. They're always investing back into the company to provide better technology and more efficient services that will benefit the work ethic, as well as overall efficiency in the long run. The co-creation of HR and payroll services are in regards to having a very connected communication with the clients. Paylocity is not just here to sell you a product, but rather they want to understand the needs and wants of every single one of its clients. From there, they will devise a customized plan in terms of HR and payroll services that is specific to its clients' needs. Paylocity has 5 main values that shape their entire company. The first being earn it every day. This is putting an emphasis on the importance of challenging oneself as well as others on a daily basis. We should always strive to do better than the day before. The second value being growth fuels opportunity. This puts a focus on, on the continuation of growth as individuals as well as a company. As its employees continue to improve and grow within the company, it will reflect overall. The third value being think next generation is a value that asks the employees of Paylocity to always be curious, as well as having a continuous hunger for improvement. The fourth value being live in reputation. This values the specific characteristics in a person being integrity and honesty. The reputation you create today will carry with you into the future. And our final value within the company is to be unbeatable together. This value puts a focus on the importance of teamwork and working as a group for the overall whole that is Paylocity.
All right, for our statement of purpose, we looked at the overall process for reviewing and approving integration requests from our clients at Paylocity. And one thing we noticed was that there was kind of a delay with finding out if someone was actually authorized to order like the integration request for that project to be started. So kind of the purpose of what we were doing was to reduce the manual administrative work put on the employees at Paylocity. That way they didn't have to go in and manually verify the authorized contacts for each and every integration request. And in the grand scheme of things, the main purpose of this is to save Paylocity money, but also to improve the efficiency of this process. What we did is we broke down the process, and by identifying that we needed to kind of speed up the authorization process, we kind of focused on using Microsoft SQL, which is a programming language, and that is the language that Paylocity uses for all of its databases. So it gives us quick and efficient access to find those authorized contacts.
All right, so next we will focus on the target market of Paylocity. Being a human resource and payroll company, Paylocity is targeted towards customers who are seeking those such services. They serve companies with a multitude of employees. However, they put an emphasis on companies with 500 or less employees to better ensure each of their clients is getting the best services possible. As we continue moving into the future, cloud-based payroll services are becoming more and more popular in the market. These cloud-based services focus on operation through remote systems that could be accessed from just about anywhere that has an internet connection. Paylocity serves a variety of clients local to the US as well as outside of the US. Outside of the US, Paylocity has roughly about 75 clients across the globe, such as the United Kingdom. Paylocity also finds itself to have a large portion of its clients coming from the healthcare field. Many hospitals, physical therapists, or even dental offices are utilizing Paylocity's HR and payroll services. So for Paylocity's competition, in the HR and payroll service field, there are many companies and clients that clients have the opportunity to choose from. Paylocity has three main competitors, the first being ADP, that offers additional services on top of HR and payroll, being compensation and also retirement benefits. This company has over 900,000 clients on average, and its annual revenue comes out to about $15 billion. The second company is called Paycom. They are based in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and have an average of 17,000 clients, as well as an annual revenue of about 1.06 billion. SAP is also another competitor that are based out of Waldorf, Germany, and have roughly 425,000 clients and an annual revenue of about 32 billion. What sets Paylocity apart from these other competitors is the fact that they're very straightforward with fees as well as pricing. Some of its competitors may talk on additional fees that may not be openly discussed at first, but are added on at a later date. Another one of Paylocity's competitive advantages is the fact that they put such a focus on customer for client success. Paylocity is always working in tangent with their customers to find the best solutions and needs for each client. It seems as though the competitors are often in the market of selling a specific service or product that may not work specifically for each and every client. Paylocity genuinely believes in satisfying each of their customers' needs above all else.
Thank you, Jacina. Our clients, Paylocity, conduct business in a few ways today. Paylocity offers both in-person and online business interactions. First, Paylocity offers in-person customer-client interactions. Current or new customers can visit any Paylocity building to open an account or just get some help. The other way Paylocity conducts business is through remote interactions. Paylocity offers customers the ability to oversee business operations via Zoom meetings. This choice has become significantly more popular with the ongoing COVID pandemic. With companies adapting to working remotely, Paylocity offering the ability to do remote business accommodates their clients better. Paylocity also does an excellent job at marketing their company. One area Paylocity excels in is their website. Websites are extremely important for companies as they act as a landing page for social media or advertisements. Paylocity's website has three main components. First, they post raving customer reviews. This entices potential new customers to want to do business here. Second, Paylocity details the benefits of using their company on many of their website pages. And third, the website continuously pushes those to interact with a Paylocity representative. This helps establish a relationship that further entices companies to do business with Paylocity. Now let's talk about Paylocity's current authorization process. This is the process that Group 2 revised. When a company becomes a customer of Paylocity, they must fill out the PAID form. This stands for Paylocity Automated Data Exchange. This is a paper or digital PDF form that is presented to the new customer. This form must be filled out by every company, regardless of the company's employee size. The partner relations team oversees this entire process and ultimately approves or denies the requested authorization. The process proceeds as follows. An employee from ABC Company submits the PAID form to the partner relations team. Authorization will be requested for Paylocity to share company data. A member of the partner relations team at Paylocity reviews the form submitted. Information such as what company and what employee is asking for authorization will be gathered. From there, the partner relations member utilizes Paylocity's search base to search for ABC company. Then they will individually look up the employee that has requested authorization. Paylocity's record-keeping system informs the partner relations member who has authorization and of what information. Some employees may have authorization in some areas, but not others. Lastly, the partner relations member will either approve or deny the requested authorization. If approved, the employee receives the data requested. If denied, the employee will not be allowed to have access to the company data. I'm now going to pass it back to Jacina.
So in terms of the weakness of the current process, Paylocity's partner relations team has been struggling to find a permanent solution in making their authorization process more efficient, specifically in two areas. The first being with companies that have multiple authorizations, the second being for companies that have multiple branches or sites. Focusing back on the first area, being companies with multiple authorizations, this is creating a bottlenecking of projects. By spending excessive amounts of time verifying each individual authorization, it prevents the projects from moving forward and occasionally getting backed up. As a result of this bottlenecking, we see a decline in the efficiency of this authorization process. So moving on to the second area, being multiple branches or sites, it can begin to become very time consuming as the partner relations team has to manually go in and check clients on an individual basis, rather than being able to group its clients together, regardless of the fact that it may have multiple branches. As we see a decline in efficiency, as well as the process is becoming very tedious and time consuming, this results in the process stage for the relations team slowing down. They aren't able to move as quickly through this process as they would if it was only one authorization contact, therefore this being the weakness of the overall current operation.
Paylocity's current authorization process, once the PED form is filled out, it's verified. If approved, the request moves through the system and it's updated on the employee and company's behalf. When the authorization fails, it is returned back to the customer so that they're able to verify who is actually authorized to sign off on the form. It goes through multiple steps of verification, the first being cross-referenced with the company name, company ID, vendor information, and lastly, that signature that verified it. If it's not verified through the first line of verification, it is cross-referenced through a secondary line of verifications. And finally, it can be rejected and returned back and will have to go through the system again. The process of validating the PED form can be time consuming, presently using the Microsoft SQL server to query all of the needed information, which is of course updated by the companies themselves so that we have the most up-to-date information on who's able to verify the information and go ahead and let it go forward. About 25% of the time, it is rejected. On average, Paylocity presently receives about 30 requests daily, which is of course expected to grow as the company grows. So we're looking to cut down that time that it's taking to validate the information.
Thank you, Widline. Paylocity has many strengths. The first is that Paylocity has a very recognizable name. Paylocity is a common human resource and payroll company, which makes them a key component of their industry. Another strength of Paylocity is their ability to be innovative. When COVID-19 started making its way around the US, Paylocity was able to quickly adapt and overcome constant changes in the marketplace. Their ability to recognize holes in the market and quickly adapt to fill the needs of their customers has been a driving force in them staying successful. One way that Paylocity can create solutions for their clients is through integrating the Paylocity database with third-party vendors through a process called partner integrations. While Paylocity has many strengths, they also have weaknesses. Some of Paylocity's weaknesses include their inefficiency of current processes. Many of their processes can be better optimized by decreasing manual work and increasing automated responses. This would allow the company to be more efficient for their clients. Another weakness of Paylocity is the financial cost it would take to replace certain workers. Because Paylocity is a software and programming-based company, if they ever needed to hire or replace a specialized employee, it would be an excessive cost. Paylocity has many opportunities presented to them as well, some of which include the ability to grow due to the new uprising of online work. One major area that Paylocity can expand into is online spaces. The COVID pandemic has widely changed how companies conduct business. As the remote business industry grows, so do the opportunities. Paylocity would be wise to continue to accommodate remote relationships and continue to improve their online work as technology advances. Like all companies, Paylocity also has threats. These threats include changes in the business industry due to COVID, as well as other competitor companies in the software industry. The current pandemic is rapidly and unexpectedly changing the business world. This could pose a threat to Paylocity as many of its consequences are unprecedented and unpredictable. Another threat for Paylocity is its competitor companies. Other companies such as ADP, SAP, or Paycom provide the same services as Paylocity. If Paylocity is not careful about staying up to date on processes, clients may choose to go with a competitor company that can better fill their needs. And now I'm going to pass it on to Michael.
Thank you, Hannah. So when we were looking at options to improve Paylocity's current situation, we were looking at three different options. We have PeopleSoft, Workday, and Microsoft SQL. PeopleSoft is a software that is part of the Oracle software product line. PeopleSoft is most often used by large corporations to manage their financial and supply chain through a financial and supply chain management system. This would give us the ability to perform register inquiries, review evaluation results, input project balances, and modify tasks such as integration and end dates. PeopleSoft would allow us to make mass transactions, update time reports, import templates, and remove obsolete spreadsheets. Paylocity was not looking to make more transactions or view time reports. Importing templates and removing obsolete spreadsheets seemed appealing to them, however. Unfortunately, PeopleSoft did not match the full criteria of what Paylocity was looking for in the new software. So we looked at Workday, and Workday is a cloud-based human resource management software system, similarly to PeopleSoft, that unifies a wide range of HR functionality into a single system. It provides everything from benefits to compensation to talent management. Workday is more focused on an internal hierarchy of employees rather than an internal database of external clients. In my experience with Workday, I was able to get all the basic information that I, as a manager of a team, would be able to access from my subordinates. Paylocity liked the idea of Workday, but they were not looking for something that is formatted for intercompany management. They need to be able to sort through their client database easier. So Workday was a little bit closer. However, we've decided to use the program Microsoft SQL to rewrite the code for this process. SQL is a relational database management system designed by Microsoft. SQL stands for Structured Query Language and is the standard language for relational database management systems. SQL gives us the ability to rewrite the coding in the system, allowing us to edit the inner framework of the database itself. Paylocity already has a license for Microsoft SQL software, which is also much more cost-effective for them, allowing the ability to allocate more of their resources to this project. Although both PeopleSoft and Workday are great companies and that make great products, they simply do not fit with what Paylocity was looking for in a software. With SQL, we'll be able to recode the search query results to show a simpler form of information. Like Ryan was explaining earlier, with the current system, the issue arises where the results will show too many people who are verified for a specific level of clearance, but will not differentiate them from people who have higher or lower levels of clearance. Next slide. So the resources that we used, Paylocity had a big role in this. The majority of the code work was done by Ryan and his team with his management. The total labor costs, partner relations team roughly allocated 3 hours in total to work on this project between the employees. Ryan and his team was working on that and on all their spare time that they could. If if implemented at Paylocity, they can expect to allocate a total of 40 hours of labor for training. And then, of course, that labor does not include what this team put in. Most of the labor is dedicated to tinkering with the code and ensuring it's functional. Additional time will be allocated to creating training materials for current and future staff. We are keeping labor costs to a minimum, of course, by using Ryan and his coworkers. Once the system is fully developed, we'll be able to implement training for the partner relations team. We can expect each member to need 30 minutes to 1 hour of training each, bringing us to a rough total of 4 hours of labor needed. And then the products and services team will be overseeing releasing the software once the system and training are completed.
Thank you. So digging into the numbers a little further, we're going to go into the financial analysis and review the ROI, or the return on investment. So with some digging, we were able to figure out that the partner integration team at Paylocity was receiving just shy of 10,000 requests per year for integrations. Looking through the numbers, and we determined roughly half of those were actually requiring multiple companies. So you would have to verify multiple authorized contacts with the paid form. And so with this new process, we were able to determine that we could save roughly 82 hours a year, which based off of general salary information was roughly $3,900 per year in savings. And we would have an overall return on investment of roughly 387%. Because the initial investment is actually fairly low. Since, like Michael said, we just used Microsoft SQL, which we already have licenses for. So between myself and the programmers that I worked with, we have spent roughly $505, and that does include a couple of hours for actually training the employees on the team. So it's quite a substantial return on investment for very little efforts. Since most people on the team are already familiar with Microsoft SQL, it'll be a quick and easy way for the team members to cut down on time, and that would then either give the team more money to either hire more employees, or potentially help increase yearly raises or anything of that nature. And at a little bit more of a granular level, the average number of companies that we have to verify on a paid form that involves multiple companies is roughly 5 companies total. So if a member on the partner relations or the partner integration team were to review a paid form with 5 companies, they would on average spend about 2.5 minutes just to review and verify that the authorized contact is verified for all 5 companies. With the new process, it takes roughly 30 seconds to review. Like once you execute the Microsoft query, should spit the results out in like about 5 to 10 seconds, and then we allocated 30 seconds total for the new process. And as you can see, it saves a lot of time.
So taking a look at the NAT chart that we had created for this, basically our NAT chart begins with having our initial classroom meeting with Professor Walker. This allowed us to determine the type of company we should look at for a potential client to work with. After that meeting, we obtained Professor Walker's approval to proceed with our client, Paylocity. Next, we had our first meeting with our client. A representative from Paylocity's partner relations team met with us and Professor Walker. And in that meeting, we kind of discussed exactly what Paylocity was looking for, just so we could get a better understanding of what we need to be doing. After we got an idea of that, we started bouncing ideas back and forth, and then finally proposed our ideas to Paylocity. Then we worked directly with the partner relations team at Paylocity and developing and implementing the latest changes to their software. We completed our solution alongside the team at Paylocity while working on the development of our proposed solution. I went ahead and allocated us time to work on a beta testing period, just so they could get an initial draft done and then give them a couple of days to work on it, like hands-on. That way they'd see if they needed to change anything, and then allocated another week for them to do any kind of final updating. After that, the complete product was done. Everything was finished on time, and we were given the staff 3 days for their training.
In our new and improved arena simulation, everything is cut in half. There's no secondary line required. It's more centralized, more streamlined. It's more so now of approve or denial. If it's approved, of course, we'll be able to go ahead and move through the system and be updated. If denied, it would go ahead and be resubmitted for approval. Everything is just verified upon that one line, providing the company ID, the vendor ID, and of course the name for verification so that everything can go through. The companies are still able to update that information as it changes, so that Paylocity has everything up to date on their end. So there's no denial that's erroneously denied.
Thank you for that. So we did a secondary SWOT analysis, and this was after we implemented the new process. So for the strengths for Paylocity moving forward, we have an identifiable and innovative approach. As we can see, Paylocity was able to move and act on this pretty quickly. This could lead to an increase in customer satisfaction and employee productivity. By being able just to approve everything very quickly, it reduces the potential for rejection and need for the client to resubmit. And then obviously it helps the employees by spending less time reviewing the authorized contacts. So all that leads to a decrease in inefficiency, manual labor, and frustration for both the employees and Paylocity's clients. For the weakness, this new process does require some training, and some people, as with all change, there may be some hesitation to adopt the new process. One of the reasons for that is, employees may not be entirely familiar with Microsoft SQL. Some may be more efficient than others, so it may be possible for them to be confused at first. For the opportunity for Paylocity, they could package this as a potential new solution to the integration program. It gives them a slight competitive advantage because they're able to then move through this process quicker and more efficiently as compared to some other potential competitors in the marketplace. With the return on investment that we went through earlier, you can see it does provide a substantial return and potential extra revenue for the company. For threats, as with everyone in the current marketplace with the COVID times that we're in, there's always constant and ongoing changes. So Paylocity needs to be able to identify any potential threats and act on them quickly. And old process is perceived has a higher perception of effort. So even though it may not take a lot of time in total, if it seems like it does to either the employee or the client, it could be detrimental just because they think it takes longer.
All right. So the proposed solution to Paylocity's authorization form process shortens the time that it would take for customers to go through its authorization processing time. This is because we have eliminated the time needed to fill out multiple forms, meaning that the relations team no longer needs to spend that extra time and can use that extra time to put focus elsewhere in the company for improvements if needed. As the market becomes more and more competitive, Paylocity must continuously adapt and create solutions that will push them past its competitors rather than get left behind. The proposed solution for the authorization form process provides a competitive advantage for Paylocity. It will allow for them to keep up with its competitors with the hopes of eventually surpassing them. Improved efficiency is another benefit to the company, as the goal is to create an intuitive authorization process for the clients. At Paylocity, having the customer feel confident about their business decisions is the goal. Moving on to recommendations, it is recommended that once the new process is ready, it is then to be phased out. This beginning with the testing phase of those who created the solution. This would be to ensure that everything is running smoothly with little to no errors. Once the testing phase has come to an end, we will then move on to the polishing phase, in which any bugs or issues will then be corrected, leaving with a perfectly polished solution. Finally, we will move into the implementation phase, where we can now have those in the partner relations department informed of this new solution. From here, we move on to the training phase. This is where each team is then introduced and ultimately trained on how to properly implement the solution into their day-to-day workflow.
The benefits of our new process is that it's going to be more centralized, reduces the amount of time needed for verification. It's going to be easily installable as it is going to be created by the company itself, so compatibility shouldn't be an issue. Any performance enhancements are going to be a little bit quicker, a little bit easier to rely on the in-house team as opposed to having to try and relay it to a team outside. It will increase the security with us having the ability to enter and exit as needed without having a third party go into the system looking at things perhaps they shouldn't need to. And of course, we'll have complete control.
All right, and lastly, we'd just like to thank everyone who has aided our team in completing our capstone project. We'd like to extend a special thank you to Ryan Houston's team at Paylocity. Not only were we able to work alongside them on this project, but the amount of effort they put in on their own time was extremely helpful. This truly would not have been possible without their help. We would also like to thank Professor Walker for guiding our team along this project. Both Paylocity and Professor Walker were crucial in the success of this project.